This is David with High Performance Stoicism. I want to talk to you about the whole circumstance technique. This is a technique that will help you to have more wise decisions and many fewer foolish decisions. This is based on a discussion I had in a previous video, which is called Stoics, Why You Make Foolish Decisions. Now, this technique I'm going to introduce to you is a new Stoic technique. It's new because I came up with it, and it's Stoic because it's based on Stoic principles and Stoic psychology. This is something I love to do because I often find out that a technique I base on Stoic principles can sometimes be very effective and sometimes even more effective than a technique that we have in the writings of the Stoics. So here's the basic idea that's behind the whole circumstance technique. It's given in a quote by Seneca in which he says, "The reason we make mistakes is because we all consider the parts of life, but never life as a whole." End quote. Here's the way to understand what he's talking about. The reason we make foolish decisions is because of partial perspectives. They are partial perspectives because we only see certain parts of the situation and usually parts having to do with what's immediately going on. Now, here's a case where you can make a minor foolish decision in life, such as you've told yourself, I'm not going to eat any more sugary treats during the week. No more cupcakes, cakes, and so on. And then you tell that yourself and you call it a resolution, or I'm totally committed to that. But then you're at a office meeting. Then you are at a social function, a party, and then you see a beautiful slice of chocolate cake. And guess what? You end up eating it. And why do you eat it? Because you're tasting what it will taste like before you even have it. You look at how delicious it is. You can even feel the texture of that cake in your mouth. And that, in a way, is the main perspective you have. It's very partial. It's not covering, your perspective doesn't cover other parts of the circumstance, such as how you look, how healthy you will be, and having too much sugar is really bad for you. So your perspective is focused on the immediate. It's not focused on the things that will stop you from eating it. So here is the whole perspective technique. Think of an area in which you have a weakness, such as you have a weakness for wasting time online when you should be working. You have a weakness for treats, and I'll give you that. We'll use that as our main example. Or you have a more serious weakness. You have a problem with infidelity because when you're around a beautiful woman, your perspective is focused on how hot she is, how hot the sex is going to be, and so on. And your mind is not focused on things like your wife or girlfriend, your children, in terms of a custody issue, or your salary and assets. In other words, you don't look at the whole of life. So the technique we're offering here gives you not the whole of life, but a good deal more to help you with your decisions. So here's what you do. You've already picked some area in which you need to be more disciplined, you need to resist temptation, and here's what you do. You write down the 3 main reasons why you should not eat sugary treats during the week. And here's, we already mentioned what some might be. Number 1, I want to look good, or I want to look better. Number 2, my health can suffer from eating this stuff. And number 3, sugar is really bad for you. So what I want you to do is I want you to put somewhere these 3 reasons not to do the things that you are tempted by. And so if you're going to a business conference or a meeting, you're out of town and you have to be there. If you have a tendency to be tempted by straying, write down the 3 most important reasons, your reasons in each case, but just for example, my wife, my kids, my salary, my assets. And then here's what you do. You put these three reasons, which give you a wider view of the circumstance. You put them either on your phone, right, as the in the screen, something to look at, or you put them on a little card that you write, 1, 2, 3, and you look at it a couple times a day at least. And if you think you're going into a situation where you might be tempted, you're going into a party, before you walk into that place, take a look at the three reasons not to eat the treats. And here's what's going to happen. When you get in such a situation, you will have reminded yourself several times, let's say over a given week, that I want to be healthy. I want to look better. And sugar's really bad for me. And that means that more often, when you get tempted by a treat like this, you will be having a wider, more encompassing perspective. So you will be less likely to follow through with the temptation. So that's the whole circumstance technique. And if you have some other use for it, then I'd love to hear it in the comments. But like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Try it out for me.